What's going on, guys? NFL Week 9 back here, halfway through the year. Technically halfway through the year. It's 17 weeks, so not really technically halfway through, but with the odd number, we'll call it halfway through. Trade deadline's all set. Teams have just about their final rosters heading into the last half of the year. Big injury news over the past couple weeks. Obviously, Kirk Cousins done for the year. Um, that team's kind of in a point where don't know where they go from here because he's not under contract anymore. Matt Stafford out this week with a thumb injury. I believe it's thumb, right, Shane?
Yeah, it's his
Yep.
throwing hand thumb, I think.
So Mr. Rippon will be starting there. Obviously, new quarterback in Atlanta with Tyler Heineke starting now over Mr. Ritter. What else, Shane? What am I missing? Daniel Jones back for the Giants this week.
Oh yeah,
Um, Cardinals starting another rookie today because they
Clayton
got
Tune.
rid of Mr. Dobbs to Minnesota. Do we see a Dobbs sighting today or no?
No, he's not playing. There, he said he's not.
Okay,
It's
and
all
then of
Jared
course,
Hall.
another Bears situation with um, like a high school quarterback playing in the NFL. Um, so we'll hop right into Week 9 here. We're going to start with the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Baltimore Ravens today in Baltimore. This game opened. Um, this game opened at 4.5. It jumps all the way up to 6.5 last night. Total opened at 43. It stuck around that number until about 10 minutes ago. It's at 44 now. Public likes, I should say, sharps like the dog here, getting the 6.5. A little bit of sharp money on the road dog here.
These teams are like close enough to where this shouldn't be like a touchdown spread. Pretty much. I mean, both teams. Seahawks are 5-2. Ravens 6-2. They've both been playing well as a team. Uh, this might be an overreaction to how Gino's been playing throughout the year because Gino hasn't playing like he was last year, obviously. I think people are just aboard the Lamar hype train while he's on the when he's on the field. I think people are going to bet on Lamar because he's so dynamic. Uh, it just Lamar as a dog at home by a lot of points has historically just not gone well,
Me as a
like
favorite.
covering wise. Yeah, him as a favorite. He's 3-14 when favored by more than 3 points over the last 3 years at home. Um, these teams are not that far apart, so just give me the team that's getting basically a touchdown.
Yeah, I think both two different offenses today. Obviously, I think Seattle is more of a complete offense with throwing and passing game wise. Obviously, better quarterback with Lamar. Um, but at some point, I think the Ravens' lack of weapons on the offensive side is going to bite them in the ass at some point, especially when you're playing against a top half of the league offense in Seattle. You're gonna have to keep up points with them too. So I think the bigger question is can the Ravens defense stop this offense of Seattle? Seattle traveling cross country. I know Pete Carroll has been kind of good at getting his teams prepared when they do that in the past. Um, I'm not calling the upset here, but I think it's gonna be a really close game, like Shane said. I think Ravens squeak out a tight one, maybe a late Justin Tucker field goal. I don't see this game either way going more than 7 points in the final score. So I'm going to take the dog here, plus the 6.5. Also going to take the over here. I do see some points. So, 1 o'clock game. It's nice outside in Baltimore. I think both teams going to throw it. Lamar could have a good showing today as well. So I see, possibly a Seahawks either backdoor late or Ravens winning by a late field goal here. All right, next one hopping in. Just nothing you really want to talk about here with the Bears and the Saints, but we're going to go over it anyways. Bears opened up as 6-point dogs, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken. Opened up as 5.5-point dogs on the road in New Orleans. This shot up all the way to 10 yet last night, back down to 9.5 here. Before we get into this just brutal matchup here, Derek Carr is a 9.5-point favorite kind of scares me, first off. Second off,
Yes.
in the league in general, when you have a team who's laying 9.5 points, especially at home, you always look towards the under here. I don't see the Bears putting up too many points today against this, better than average Saints defense. I see them getting the quarterback a lot, but I also don't see the Saints just going out there and putting Derek Carr in the 350-yard passing yard spot either. I think they use Kamara a lot out of the backfield. I don't see them putting up too many points either. I kind of see it as like a 28-13 game situation. Maybe even less than that, 20, maybe 27-10. So I lean it's tough for me to take points with this Bears team, but I think the best play here is the under.
Yeah, the play is the under here. There's no shot I'm taking Derek Carr. That's anything over even a touchdown favorite in any situation ever. Derek Carr's 18, 34, and 2 as a favorite. He's 1-9-1 ATS when favored by 3 points or more since 2021.
Yeesh.
This Bears team has been playing better than they were at the beginning of the year. They just traded for and signed Montez Sweat, which would hopefully help their defense to an extent, even though they have a corner that just doesn't want to be there. He asked to get traded and wasn't. I would stay away from this game in any capacity.
Yeah, I agree. It's just tough for me to take either side here with both numbers. Obviously, you have to put up points to cover as a Bear if you're a Bear backer. But if you're also the Saints, you have to put up, at least double-digit points here, probably 3 touchdowns, and I can't bet on Derek Carr doing that in the state. So yeah, under here, just because I don't see the Bears putting up too many points. Don't love this game at all. But like I said, when you get 9.5, 10-point favorites, especially at home, look towards the under most of the time. I think it's like 60% of the past 10 years. So look towards the under here in this one. All right, another gross game with quarterback situations. We have the Falcons taking on the Minnesota Vikings in Atlanta. This spread's been bouncing around all over the place, even this morning too. Opened up as a -1-point favorite with the uncertainty of Kirk's injury coming into next week or this week currently. As soon as he got ruled with obviously out for the year with an Achilles injury, it jumped to 3.5. It's at 4 some places still, but jumped back down to 3.5. DraftKings still has that as 4, but consensus pick here is total being at 38 and the number being at 3.5 here for the Falcons.
Who isn't excited for Jaren Hall versus Taylor Heineke in the NFL? Falcons are 1-6 ATS their last 7 games. And then QBs making their first career start on the road are 3-15 straight up since 2021. I don't know anything about Jaren Hall, but I don't think I need to know that he's probably not that good. Seeing that they had to go trade for Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, he's obviously not the answer.
No.
If this was Josh Dobbs playing, I'd probably see it as close to a pick 'em.
I would take the Vikings if Dobbs was playing.
Yeah, I agree. Just a better overall team in the Vikings. It's just the quarterback situation. It's just an unknown at this point, so it's hard for me to take them. I would like them if the spread was a little higher, between 4 and 6, maybe 5-point game. I like them there, but this spread is creeping down. Sharp money is coming in the Vikings for some reason. Don't know why. But yeah, I like to see if there are any stats on Heineke as a home favorite. I think he's been pretty good.
Probably, I don't even know if that exists. Fucking him as a home favorite.
Exists, but I'm sure it's a slim amount of games. I'm pretty sure he's been pretty good in those games. But it's tough for me to lay 3.5 here. Obviously, like I said, Vikings just overall talent wise a better team. Coaching wise, I think it's pretty similar. Two offensive minded coaches, two guys who want to win bad this week. Be on the lay out this game. You could see some points here, depending on how the Vikings run game is. I don't see Jaren Hall, obviously first road start, putting up a stellar stat line. But the Falcons have shown to turn the ball over in the red zone a lot. So,
Well, that was because of Desmond Ritter. He's not there
yeah.
anymore because he fumbled at the 1 yard line 5 times.
Hmm.
Uh,
So I don't have much on this one. I don't really have a play. If the line gets back up to 4, between 4, 5, and 6, maybe take the Vikings here on a sprinkle. But other than that, I don't really have much on this one.
when I did my write up, I had Vikings plus 4.5, and I took them covering at that point. But I still think the Falcons win regardless.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree there. Not a game I'd be interested in. Kind of gross. Falcons should take care of business here, but it's the Falcons, and it's not pretty. So, all right, take on the home squad here. Patriots laying 2.5. Some points, some places at 3 now. Some at 3.5. Opened at 2. I think it jumped to 4 at all. 3.5 point line. Totals up to 40.5. With the Commanders trading off basically their whole defense. Shane, if the Patriots don't win this one, I mean,
they still got the Commanders' offense hasn't been touched at all, but I mean, their offense still put up over 30 against the Eagles last week. So I mean, you got to be able to try to hold off to an extent Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell's still top 5 in passing yards or something, top 10, something like that. They're gonna have to be put in situations where they're throwing the ball a lot. Sam Howell's obviously gonna mess up a lot while he does that. He's the most sacked quarterback in the league. Loves to hold on the ball for 10 seconds while in the pocket. I'm on the Patriots this game. Weirdest stat I could probably find here: QBs in their first career 10 starts, if they in one of those games they're playing on the road against New England, they're 5-31 straight up.
Holy shit!
So, and this is Sam Howell's 10th start in his career, so he qualifies. This is just a game where I think Sam Howell's gonna get not exposed, but really put down
He's
to
gonna
earth.
struggle.
Bill Belichick knows how to make young quarterbacks struggle. If he was more mobile, Sam Howell does have mobility, but if it was more mobile, it'd be an issue because the Patriots can't stop a mobile quarterback to save their life. But Mac is good as a favorite. He's actually surprisingly above 500 ATS as a favorite, which is absurd to me. But it seems like the Commanders have already kind of given up on the season. They traded away 2 young pieces of their defense. They committed to not paying them. I think they might be eyeing one of these top quarterbacks in the draft. I think they're going to reset come the offseason. Ron Rivera is probably not going to be there. Who knows if Bieniemy is going to be there or not. He might get a head coaching job or just become the head coach here. Kendrick Bourne does hurt the Patriots because he was their number 1 weapon. Maybe Demario Douglas or some Kayshon Boutte probably get some more playing time now.
He's been a healthy scratch for the last 3 weeks. So
I mean, yeah, but you just lost your best receiver, so someone's got to fill a void. It's probably an ugly, low-scoring game, in my opinion. But I'm leaning the home team here.
Yeah, I see maybe a 20-14 game, 21-14, 21-17 matchup there. Again, both offenses struggle. Surprise! I mean, I'm going to say this: Commanders have a better offensive side of the ball, weapons-wise. I think they have a wide receiver 1 in Terry McLaurin, a good tight end Logan Thomas, but their O-line's pretty shaky. So I'm starting Brian Robinson, I think, in 2 leagues today, which is kind of scary as well. Seeing that they're probably going to be down most of the game, didn't have any options at that point. So I think Patriots sneak out a home win here. It's not going to be pretty. Season's still just destroyed. in general. Both teams looking towards next year, obviously. I think the better team here, the favorite wins at home. So take the minus 2.5 at home. Definitely take the under here. I don't see these teams putting up more than 3 touchdowns each. So, all right. Another gross game in week 9. Cardinals on the road taking on the Browns. This spread has shot up. This spread opened up at Cleveland minus 8.5. As soon as they Cardinals traded Dobbs to Minnesota, jumped up to 12. It's up to 13 now, and on most places, consensus is Browns minus 13. Total sitting at 38. We just talked about the Saints situation here. You get a big number, low total here at 38. Take the under and just don't watch the game. I don't see both teams firing at all, really, on offense. I don't see Cardinals scoring much of any points today at all. Maybe 10. I don't know what their team total is. It's definitely less than 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to go Browns. Don't cover here. They have the capability of covering the huge number. So I'm going to go a score of like 17-10, a 21-10 type of game. I think Cleveland sneaks out a home win.
I had it at 24-10, but also when I wrote this up, the Browns were minus 8 and not minus almost 13.
Yeah.
So I would stay away from the Browns number at all costs. If anything, just do a teaser and put the Cardinals in it. Get them up to plus like 19. There's not much to say about this Cardinals team right now. Until Kyler's there, we can't really do anything. He should be back next week. He was like I think he's ready to go now, but I don't think they want his first game to be against Cleveland.
Yeah.
I didn't think they wanted his first game to be against Baltimore. They get Atlanta next week. That's probably where we see him step in. Deshaun Watson's back for the Browns. Who knows what he is at this point? He hasn't looked like himself still. The Browns just have a complete
graded by ESPN and NFL is the worst passer in the league so far this year. Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, makes sense. He had like one good game. I forget against who. It was like week 3 or something. But I mean, there's not much to say here. The Browns just have a complete overall better roster. Like I don't think the Cardinals beat them in any aspect except for Budda Baker. They have Budda Baker.
Yeah.
But Budda Baker's not going to just single-handedly win you a game. He can't.
No, and I think, at this point, 12.5, 13 points is kind of hard for me to take this team. If the Browns had an offense of some sort, I think you could take this team and hopefully cover, but you need points to cover this. And I'm not expecting, either team to put up, like I said in this earlier game too with the Patriots. I don't expect these teams to be on offense like, throwing the ball deep. It's going to be a ground and pound game for the Browns. I see Ford and Hunt getting a lot of action today just to run that clock down and get out of Cleveland and go home with, go back home to your own beds with a victory. Just move on to week 10. Cardinals obviously coming in with a rookie quarterback with a week to prepare against arguably top defense in the league. Just a bad matchup for the Cardinals here. Take the under. I don't see them, like I said, 10-plus points. It's hard to come by here, I think, against the Browns. So under is my play, and I'd probably take the points just because I don't see Cleveland putting up too many points either. So, all right. Finally, somewhat of a good game to talk about. One team going in one direction, one team going in a different direction, I think. Buccaneers coming in off, 3 straight losses, Shane? Or 4?
I think it's 2 straight losses. They lost to the Bills. They lost to the Falcons.
Look it up. It's multiple losses. We know that.
Yeah, they lost to the Bills and the Falcons the last 2 weeks.
Texans coming in looking like a solid team. Probably the best quarterback in that draft so far. Obviously, they had Bryce Young matchup last week, which they lost. I think it was just time for Bryce to get a win there. Not saying that's any excuse for the Texans to how bad they played on both sides, especially on offense against that awful defense in Carolina. But I see a bounce back spot for Mr. Stroud here. The only issue is I think it's going to be a lot of midfield play in between the numbers of 30 and 30. This red zone defense by Tampa Bay is just really good, top in the league. I think it's like 30% they allow red zone touchdowns at this point in the league season, which is outstanding. But Baker struggling to say the least. They've lost 3 straight off a bye. Detroit, Atlanta, and now Buffalo. So heading to this one, losing 3 straight. Is it tank season for them? Is it just time to take the season as a loss or what?
I mean, the NFC South is just so wide open. I don't think it's going to be them to call it quits like anytime soon. I think if it comes like week 13 and like the Saints have like or the Falcons have like kind of pulled ahead or both of them even pulled ahead, then we might make the Kyle Trask swap. Yeah. Spread wise, this says to not go with the Texans, surprisingly, like based on how the season's gone, but like it's hard for me not to do that. Baker's undefeated against the spread on the road this year. CJ Stroud is 0-2 as a favorite this season on the spread. I like points in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of points this game. I'm not really scared of either of these defenses. Like the Texans don't have any playmakers on their defense, especially with Stingley out. And then the Bucs pass defense is abysmal right now. I wouldn't touch the spread at all, to be honest, because I'm kind of scared we might just get a Baker showing.
Okay.
Like the one game out of like 6 or whatever where he pops off.
Yeah, I can't really disagree. I mean, Baker's due for some type of performance here to get his feedback under him. He's lost 3 straight against, two pretty good teams, the Lions and the Bills. I mean, didn't really expect him to win that game. Texans just look like a team in a good bounce back spot for me, though. Coming off a loss in Carolina to, C.J. Stroud's rival and Bryce Young with the draft. I think it's a good spot for him. I think they kind of expose, like I said, into the numbers. I mean, off the red zone, I think Bucs defense struggles through 9 weeks this year. It's just if they get into the red zone, I think it's going to give CJ Stroud some issues. So, no play, no money involved with this one. But I kind of lean the Texans here at home. So there's that. Rams, Packers, another injury story here. Obviously, Matt Stafford not playing today with the bad thumb. Brett Rippon gets the start in the Green Bay today. This line's up to 4. Been bouncing around 4.5 now. Consensus is with late money coming in on Green Bay. Line opened up -1 for LA with Stafford in. As soon as he got ruled out, up to 3, 3.5, 4, now 4.5 for Green Bay. Total opened up at 43.5, drops quick to 38, now down to 37.5 at most places.
I'm off the Jordan Love train. Sorry.
Yeah, it's bad. It's
what's weird is in fantasy terms, he doesn't look bad because he can run, but if you're watching the games and watching him throw the ball, it's kind of hard to watch at times. I don't know if it's rookie jitters because it's his first season or he just really can't do it. I don't know if it's a lack of actual weapons that are there because Christian Watson hasn't been healthy the full year, so it's been Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed. You're not going to win a lot of games with those. And Aaron Jones has been out the whole time. The Rams just seem like a better team right now. Another weird stat to go along with the one from a while ago. Jordan Love is 1-4 ATS versus teams that get more than 2% of plays that end in a sack. So teams that can generate some pressure, he is not that good against. Rams are at 2.5%.
Interesting.
That's probably in large part
that.
because of Aaron Donald, probably.
Yeah.
But
obviously Bakhtiari is
out,
nowhere to be found. For me, it's just the mistakes of Jordan Love. It's decision making, going against a somewhat veteran defense, a good coach in Sean McVay. I think the Rams get this one covering wise.
I'm on the Rams covering and winning.
Okay, so obviously the value in that is going up with the line going up. I don't know if there's late injury news on the Rams or whatnot, but I think the more veteran team takes this one down. I think Packers are going to have to decide if this is Jordan Love's team or not heading into next year. I just think it's a bad spot for him to do that against this front seven defense. So I'm gonna take the Rams here. I like the Rams to cover. Don't know about winning. Winning's hard in Green Bay, um, but it is Jordan Love still. So his decision making is just so bad right now. I can't back him. So it's for me, it's Rams or nothing. Don't be surprised if you see some points here. Both secondaries have struggled so far this year too. So especially the Rams, they allowed a lot of passing yards, but you're going up against a quarterback who hasn't looked great in the passing game to say the least. So riding the Rams here with Shane and probably Green Bay, maybe Green Bay by a field goal if worst, but Rams could definitely win this game in a close one. All right, Colts in Carolina this week. Carolina coming off their first win of the year. Bryce Young got that off his back. Looking to make it 2 in a row versus this horrendous Colts defense here on the road in Carolina. Shane, I'm liking the home dog here, getting 2.
I can't. Like I wanted to take him so bad last week, and I decided not to, and of course they ended up winning the one time I was going to be on them. But Frank Reich as a home dog is absolutely atrocious. This is the Frank Reich revenge game, but like I feel like in order to have a revenge game, you have to be like good. So I don't know if he qualifies. He's 2-9 straight up, 3-7-1 ATS as a home dog in his head coaching career. Colts have at least been able to put up points on offense. We've seen them; they put up 38 against the Browns defense. Panthers run defense is abysmal, and the Colts have a 2-headed running back attack now with Moss and Taylor. Taylor's just getting more and more ramped up. The Panthers offense, I mean, they paid Miles Sanders, and he's already been benched pretty much, which is crazy. Chuba Hubbard is the new starting running back for Carolina. Adam Thielen's really the only guy that can get anything going on this team. If they had made a move at the trade deadline, which the rumors were that either of these teams could have went to go get like a Jerry Jeudy or something, we'd be thinking a lot differently. But they just stayed put, didn't do anything to help their team. I'm just going to take the team that has been playing better this year, and that's the Colts.
Yeah, I got burned by this team last week, and this might be why I'm gun shy to take them again against, not a great team in Carolina. Looking defensively, I believe metric-wise, the Panthers are better, slightly better than the Colts. Not much, actually. It's actually flipped. Colts slightly better on defense than the Colts. My number for this one, looking at anything, my number would be about a 3-point game on neutral field. So put it at basically, Colts by 1 or 2, which line's basically just spot on. This Colts defense just scares me, dude. I think this could be a game where Bryce Young kind of looks good. Not that saying he's bad. I'm just saying this could be a game where he lets it go and throws around the field a little bit today. So I value in the home dog. Yes, I know 2 bottom teams in the league. Yes, I know Minshew and Bryce Young. Discrepancies there are probably leaning towards Bryson just for now. Minshew just turnover-wise does not look good throughout the year. He's known for making turnovers in his career. That's why he's not a starter in this league normally. So I'm going to take the value here. I don't like it at all. Will not have money on it. But I'm going to take the value pick here with the whole short home dog in Carolina. All right. Finally a good game. Maybe second best game of the week. We'll get into the game of the week for Sunday Night Football. Cowboys taking on the Eagles. This line has stayed put at -3. Money-wise in this one, tickets high on the Eagles here. But really, it stayed at 3 the whole time. Total stayed at 46.5 the whole time. Not much movement in terms of money in this one. For me, dude, it's just a better team, and that's the Eagles at home. Better quarterback, better coach, better defense, better front seven on both sides. It's kind of easy for me to pick the Eagles here at -3.
This just comes down to who the home team was. I think they're going to end up splitting on the year. And the Phillies just way better at home than they are on the road. Dak is 1-8 their last 9 games after winning by 20+ points. So usually big high game, then a letdown spot. This could be a letdown spot. I don't see this going as bad as the Niners game did for them
Yeah.
because you can move the ball on the Eagles defense because that secondary isn't anything to write home about. They added Kevin Byard, but still they were getting torched by Sam Howell last week. Um,
On the
Jalen
road.
Hurts, yeah, I know, but still that Sam he did it in the other game too,
He
both
did.
games against yeah, but you can move the ball on this team, but Jalen Hurts at home is just a different animal.
Mm.
I think. It's probably gonna hit the over. I don't get how this over under is not towards 50. Last time I checked, it was at 47. I would take the over in this game easily.
Yeah, 46.5 actually. Yeah.
It went down. What? Why? I have it at 34-28 Eagles. Eagles just put up like 30 points every game. Even though like in general overs aren't really hitting a whole lot. Like
No,
or at
not.
least the overs in general are at lower numbers too. Like if we had came into today last year for the Chiefs Dolphins game, that over under would be like 55,
Mm-hmm.
but and it was at like 50. There's just not a lot as much scoring happening this year. But I think the Eagles at home handle business. I think the Cowboys could be put in that conversation like the Dolphins when they
I was going
come
to say
against
that.
good when they
Read
come
my
against
mind.
when they come against good teams, kind of crack under pressure, can't really perform. Is it a
Yep.
Dak issue? Is it a head coach issue? Trevon Diggs being out is obviously playing a part in this defense. Um, that's really all there is to it. I think the Eagles are just the better team in their home.
Yeah, better team, better coach, better in the trenches of the front seven. Obviously, Dallas' defense, metric wise, says they're better. I'm not a huge believer in the defense, especially if you can stop them, sacking the quarterback, getting pressure on him, on Hurts. I think Hurts is perfect to beat that system. He's mobile, has probably the best O line in football right now. So yeah, taking the better team at home in a huge game here, laying the 3 points and just hoping the Philly plays like Philly basically. Dallas plays like Dallas in big games. So moving on here, Giants take on the Raiders. Daniel Jones, Aiden O'Connell game. Daniel Jones officially back off the injury. Don't see how you don't take the Giants here. Plus the points, plus the 1.5, plus the money line. I know Shane has a stick on the interim head coach game, which I want to try to understand.
Pulls at
But
my
dude,
heartstrings.
just it's just Aiden O'Connell just looks so bad. I think pressure gets to him again this week. Um, I don't know. I get why they're favored. They're at home. It's two bad teams playing. Giants on the road, traveling across country. I understand the line, but I think the value is just on the better quarterback.
The only thing that's like if the Giants defense was playing like how they were at the beginning of the year, I'd be all over the Raiders at this
Hmm.
point. But the Giants defense the past few weeks has been actually like playing well. I think throughout the past like 4 weeks they're ranked like top 5 overall. Kayvon Thibodeau's finally kicking in the next gear. This Raiders offensive line is not really anything. Again, Aiden O'Connell, this is going to be his second start. Um, I think Adams and Jacobs are going to have good days now because they're like as a young quarterback, you're going to just go feed the guys. Like you're not going to just try to like make hero plays a lot or just like try to do whatever. And Devontae Adams is pissed. He wants the ball bad. Um, but I'll take the Giants here. Daniel Jones first came back. I don't. This is good. Under game again. There's no way there's going to be a whole lot of points this game. Giants don't score. Raiders have a backup quarterback going against at least a decent defense at this point. Um, I'll take the Giants in this spot reluctantly
Yeah.
because I love the interim head coach narrative.
Raiders FPI wise ranked last in the NFL and just overall football power index. Bottom 3 offense, worst offense, bottom 3 defense in the league. From what I remember, it just gets worse when you put Aiden O'Connell in there. Off of basically 5 days to prepare. Yes, they're at home, I understand, but you saw pressure get to him in his first other start when Jimmy G was hurt. I think it happened again today. He had fumble issues. He had turnover issues. Just was not a pretty sight. I like the kid overall. He had a great career at Purdue. Hopefully, he turns into something. But for right now, after what I've seen, I'm taking the better quarterback, the better offense, and the better defense here with the Giants. So taking that one. All right, game of the week, possibly game of the year. Bills taking on Cincy in Cincinnati. This game opened up as Bills -1.5, quickly jumped over to the Cincinnati side, so crossed over to the 0 point. Now sitting at -2, 2.5 at most places. You still get 1.5 on Bet Online. Again, I think two teams not going in opposite directions, but I think you're getting one team at a high point, and Buffalo still question marks on both sides, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Joey B looked like Joey B last week off the calf injury, off the bye. Home field advantage here, pretty big too. Sunday Night Football, short spread for the Bengals. Anyway, Josh Allen can get a gutsy win on the road here.
The trends for quarterbacks are very positive for both sides in this spot. But I'm going to go off of what I've seen not only this season but last season. We've seen these teams play, or we saw them play 5 quarters last year because of the DeMar Hamlin game. But even in that DeMar Hamlin game, the Bengals looked like they were handling the Bills. In the playoffs, the Bengals schmacked on the Bills. And I think tonight the Bengals are going to schmack on the Bills. Joe Burrow looks fully healthy. And when Joe Burrow is fully healthy, he's the number 2 quarterback in the league. I don't think that's up for debate anymore. We saw T. Higgins, who was slumping the entire year, start to get it kind of going last week. Jamar Chase, obviously top 5 receiver in the league. Bills' defense is not at all what it was at the beginning of the year. Bengals at home. That place is going to be buzzing tonight for Joe Burrow. This is basically, I think this is basically like a playoff game.
Yeah, 100%.
Both teams are about 500 right now. This is a make or break game. I think if whoever wins this game is going to probably solidify themselves as like even though it's not going to be record wise, the number 2 team in the AFC behind the Chiefs. I just think we've seen the Bengals have the Bills number last season. I don't really have a reason to change that opinion, so I'm on the Bengals.
Yeah, VIP got this one last Sunday at 1.5. It's up to 2.5 at some places. I don't see it going to 3, just because the public loves the Bills here. I have some stats for you, and usually I don't pull out the trends, but I'm gonna pull them out right now. Josh Allen 1-5 straight up last 6 as a dog versus playoff teams considered. Burrow 8-1 straight up as a non-divisional favorite in his career. Burrow 15-4 straight up and 13-5-1 ATS as a favorite versus non-AFC North opponents with a total under 50. That falls in line with Mahomes too. He's played really well and kind of considered low totals, low spread games. Burrow follows that trend with him as well. It's just defense for me, especially in Sunday Night Football with primetime going under. Who's the better defense? And I think it's Cincinnati so far. Bills, obviously, major injury concerns on the defensive side of the ball. You're leaning a lot right now on Hyde and Poyer to just make plays and turn the ball over, which they have not so far this year. Not a slight on them. I think it's just more responsibility for them to do so. Is Ed Oliver playing? He played last week. He'll be playing this week, I think.
Dolphins. Dolphins trying to make it a game.
Oh, they finally scored.
They finally scored.
I think it's more front 7 wide in the linebacker core for the Bills. Milano, definitely a huge piece that's out in this one, which is like the commander-in-chief on the defensive side of the ball. I think it's a huge loss. And for me, it's still a question mark on offensive side of the play calling for McDermott. They lose their OC for a year. I think he's got some health issues. He's out for the rest of the year. So McDermott's calling plays now, and it just hasn't looked the same to start the year. I'm not saying it can't, change, but this team has not looked explosive. It hasn't looked like the normal Bills team you've seen. You're seeing less Josh Allen runs, probably because they want him to stay healthy. He has a shoulder injury, too, that no one wants to talk about. He couldn't lift his right arm over his basically up straight last week. That's kind of been hush-hush to start this week as well. And that plays a factor too. And yeah, I think we're getting in my opinion, the better overall team playing better overall football in Cincinnati in prime time with their game of the year, with their season possibly on the line, with Cincinnati laying the points here. So that's my long talk of taking Cincinnati minus the points tonight. All right, Monday Night Football. Chargers laying 3.5 in New York. This line jumped up real quick. Kind of hitting myself for not taking this line last week at -1. Nothing you can do now, but maybe take the 3.5. It looks like a Jets cover in my opinion. Jets cover, Chargers win, but Chargers have looked really good on offense past couple weeks. Herbert, is Josh Herbert better quarterback situation over there? And I said this last week, Shin, they're one of the most talented teams on paper, but they can never put it together. And I think this kind of shows this week in prime time against a really good defense in the Jets. Yeah, this line opens up at -1.5 Sunday night. Quickly goes up to 3. Now it's at 3.5 on most books. You can still get -3 at the bookmaker. But it feels like a backdoor for the Jets here for me. If it stays at 3.5, I know we have a lot of time till game time tomorrow, but it just feels like a late cover by the Jets here.
I'm making a live switch for this game right now.
Okay.
Against elite quarterbacks or high-tier quarterbacks, the Jets have been able to shut down all three of them. The big three quarterbacks they have shut down in Hurts, Allen, and Mahomes. I don't know if the Chargers can do stuff 2 weeks in a row like this. The Jets have a way better defense. I think their defense might end up scoring tomorrow night. In a low-scoring game, I'm switching to the Jets. I had the Chargers up until this point because just this better quarterback play, better roster on paper. I think this Jets defense, though, is just nothing to take lightly, and we've seen them dominate in situations against these quarterbacks. Can Justin Herbert put together 2 games in a row? Him on the road as a favorite in primetime hasn't been that great. Zach Wilson's gonna find a reason to be relevant in this league somehow still. The Chargers, do they really have anybody in that secondary besides Derwin James that can stop Garrett Wilson? Or can they stop Breece Hall? The Chargers' run defense isn't that good. I don't want to, but something in my gut is just telling me that the Jets are going to win this game.
I can see it. I mean, total letdown spot for the Chargers here on the road. Back-to-back primetime games. Public just saw the Chargers whoop that ass on Sunday Night Football. I was in the Chargers then. Haven't decided what I'm on tomorrow. I'll be on something, of course. I did dive more deeply into it tomorrow. But blindly looking at this game, it just looks like a Jets cover here. Maybe even possible win. The defense here, the Jets, like Shane said, it's just a totally different aspect of the Chargers defense. Just does not look. Chargers defense does not look good at all. Looked good last week, of course, because they played Badgett, who's making his second, playing his second game. Zach Wilson out of the pocket looks somewhat decent. I think they get him out of the pocket with the pressure by LA on their front seven. So that could be a look in as well for Zach. But yeah, as of right now, I'm leaving the points here on primetime. So yeah. All right. That'll do it week 9. Unfortunately, we have some news to break, and it's not good stuff. Next 2 weeks, I will be out of the country. So week 10 and week 11 are up in the air as to what we're going to do in terms of show. I think we're going to attempt to have some type of show next Sunday, if that's just an audio show, in terms of Wi-Fi availability. But it's going to be a wait-and-see game for next week. So we'll have more on that come next Sunday. Hope you guys have a great Sunday yourself, and we'll hopefully see you guys next week.
See ya.